can't think of a better skill to stay sharp on than emergency braking on a motorcycle. This week on MCrider, we'll go to a parking lot, we'll discuss the technique, and I'll show you my first session with the GSA doing some emergency braking. Hey, my name's Kevin and I release a weekly video here on MCrider focused on road skills and road strategy to help make you a better rider. Become a member here on MCrider and get access to the forums and the field guide where we'll discuss this video in more detail. You can ask questions, get feedback from a huge selection of other rider coaches and experienced riders from all over the world. Go to MCrider.com for more details on becoming a member. Learning proper braking technique is best done in a controlled environment with an instructor. However, it's not a skill you learn once and you have it for the rest of your life. If it's not practiced, the skill will be lost and you won't have it when you need it out on the street. So this was my first session with the GSA doing some emergency stops to get a feel for how the motorcycle handles under these conditions. No matter which motorcycle you ride, the technique for practicing emergency stops is the same. Find a parking lot where the surface is in good condition. You don't want any surprises with a torn up surface or loose gravel on the lot. Start slow, about 10 to 15 miles per hour as you're approaching the cones. Keep your head and eyes up. Don't look down at the front tire. All the way through the stop, keep your head and eyes up looking across the parking lot. As you reach the cones or stopping location, squeeze in the clutch and shift down into first gear if you're in a higher gear. As you're squeezing the clutch, use the front and rear brake together, but focus more on the front brake using a slow progressive squeeze to bring the motorcycle to a stop. If the front tire locks up, immediately release it and reapply it appropriately. If the rear tire locks up, it's not likely to cause a crash. Just use less pressure the next time you run through a stop. Make sure and keep your handlebars square. Just a slight turn on the handlebars will cause the motorcycle to want to fall over in that direction when you come to your stop. Squeeze the tank with your knees to help with the forward shift on the motorcycle. And did I say start slow? Just in case I didn't, start slow. Make several runs at slow speed before slowly increasing your speed. If you're new to emergency braking, you really want to watch your speed and keep it slow, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. The faster you attempt this, the more your braking mistakes are likely to lead to a crash. So take your time building the speed up. The fastest I went on this practice session was 40 miles per hour, and I have a lot of practice doing this out on the parking lot. So you don't want to cause a crash when you're practicing to avoid one. So keep the speeds within reason. You know, it's funny how braking technique has evolved over the years. When I was getting my motorcycle license at 14 years old, I was told by the police officer who gave me the riding test to be very careful with the front brake. He said that brake will cause you to crash if you use too much. My advice to you is to use it only if you need to, otherwise don't touch it. Now, his intentions were good, but that now 41-year-old advice was not so good knowing what we know today about motorcycle braking. Today we know that the vast majority of our stopping power comes from the front brake. It's not the front brake that is the problem, it's the misuse of the brake that's the problem. Today we teach riders to gradually apply the front brake and rear brake together. This allows the suspension to put more weight on the front tire, allowing us to ask more of the front brake and stopping quicker. Can you misuse the front brake? Well, of course, but the problem is most likely to occur in the initial application of the brake. So if you grab the front brake, you can stop that tire from spinning before the weight of the motorcycle shifts to the front. By locking the front tire before the motorcycle has had a chance to transfer weight to the front, you're very likely to crash unless you're able to release the brake and reapply it properly. Other problems occur when the tires are not properly inflated or they're worn. The road conditions are not ideal, like in rain or if there's gravel, oil, or sand on the road. These conditions can also lead to the tires losing traction with the road. The technique for stopping with linked brakes, ABS, or no ABS is exactly the same. ABS is not a substitute for good braking technique. I think ABS is a fantastic feature for motorcycles, and I'm a firm believer in ABS, and I have statistics to back up my opinion as well. A 2005 study showed that a motorcycle equipped with ABS ran 38% fewer crashes than non-ABS equipped motorcycles, and this is for the same make and model of the motorcycle. Another study showed that ABS equipped models had 19% fewer insurance claims, and a third study showed a 2.6% reduction of fatal crashes in ABS equipped motorcycles. And we talk a lot about reducing your risk on a motorcycle here on MCrider, and that's a pretty significant number. 2.6% reduction in fatal motorcycle crashes and a 38% reduction in overall crashes. So you tell me if that extra $500 to $1,000 is worth the extra money on a new motorcycle, ABS compared to non-ABS. Because many countries are now making ABS standard on motorcycles, making it mandatory, it's also making it more difficult to find new non-ABS equipped motorcycles here in the U.S., and it's resulted in a lowering of the price for ABS across the board. It used to be a fairly expensive option, and now it's much more affordable than it has ever been. ABS, in my opinion, is not a substitute for proper braking skills, however. Proper use of the brakes and understanding how braking works is the first line of defense. ABS serves as a backup if you do over-apply the front brake or something on the road causes the tire to lose traction. On an ABS-equipped motorcycle, on the last few feet of a stop, the ABS may engage, and that's fine, and it shows that you're getting the most out of your motorcycle's brakes. So if you engage the ABS while you're out there practicing those last few feet, that's perfectly normal, and it shows that you're getting all that you can out of those brakes. Also, unless your motorcycle is fitted with cornering ABS, it won't do any good if the motorcycle is leaned over in a corner. And if you don't know what kind of ABS your motorcycle has, it's time to look at the owner's manual. If you want to know the technique for stopping a motorcycle in a corner in an emergency, I have a video for that as well, and I'll have a link for that in the discussion. Now, my BMW has cornering ABS, but man, I've not worked up the courage to hammer on the brakes mid-corner to test it out. Old habits are hard to break, so I've not tested that feature on the bike out yet. So here's a question I get a lot. If your bike does not have ABS, do I think you should get rid of it and get a new motorcycle that does have ABS? Well, if you're looking for an excuse with your significant other to get a new motorcycle, this might be a good angle to use. The numbers show that an ABS-equipped motorcycle is in fewer crashes, but you also have to understand how few riders are actually practicing emergency braking. It's human nature to grab the front brake when something startles us out on the road, and grabbing the front brake on a non-ABS equipped motorcycle is likely to lead to a crash. The only way to overcome that natural reaction is with training and repeated practice. If you're on a motorcycle without ABS, it's even more important for you to practice good braking technique so that your first response should always be to improve the rider's skills and then think about the safety features on your motorcycle. Remember, if you grab the front brakes while you're out on the street, you may be getting a new motorcycle whether you want one or not. So practice. There are lots of empty parking lots out there right now, so get out there and practice. Till next week, guys, it's Kevin with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road.